What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Sir MC Koi back with Steelers content. As most of you know, I am a diehard Steelers fan, so I'm still going to be bringing you Steelers content as much as possible. This right here is going to be my season outlook, what I expect from this team, where I see them going, and then I'm going to just, go around, throw out some team awards and stuff like that. So to start things out, just going to look at the roster. I already simmed through the preseason just to see how Madden decided to cut it, but I'll be able to see names that either I don't believe should be on the roster or names that I still think should be on the roster, so we're going to go from there. Big one starting at the quarterback position. First off, I don't know why Landry Jones is only at 65, but I believe that Landry Jones will be on this roster over Joshua Dobbs by probably tomorrow, Saturday, when cuts come in, depending on actually when I upload this video. But Josh Dobbs did have a pretty good showing in week 4 of the preseason, and I think that was them just trying to showcase him to trade. I've heard there have been offers on Landry Jones, but Landry Jones is the most established backup in Pittsburgh, and I have a hard time seeing them getting rid of him, barring a really nice trade offer. Running back position, I believe that all of these are about right, except for Stephon Ridley. I'd like to say that maybe Stephon Ridley makes it, but I think when Le'Veon Bell comes back, Stephon Ridley might see himself being the 54th man. Potentially also Fitzgerald Toussaint could be that 54th man. So one of those two running backs, but I definitely think that Connor Bell and Jalen Samuels are all fits for the roster. Fullback, obviously Rosie Nix, still with criminally underrated 68 overall. Wide receivers, I believe that they're going to keep one more guy here, and that's going to be Ryan Switzer. I'm not sure that they have Switzer in game yet on this updated roster, but Ryan Switzer will for sure be the 6th wide receiver for Pittsburgh. Tight end, I think they're going to go with 3. I don't think Jake McGee is going to make it. I believe he is on IR. But yeah, I know a lot of these guys are hurt or having questionable injuries. I like Bucky Hodges. I just don't see him making the roster. I think he's a practice squad kind of guy. But I think this is going to be what the tight end core is going to look like minus Jake McGee. It'll be interesting to see if they go out and add somebody else, though. Left tackle, I believe Gerald Hawkins is going to make it. I don't see Bryce Harris making it. I see Bryce Harris as a practice squad guy. Finney absolutely is going to make the 53-man. Marquise Pouncey is a fit. I think Matt Filer will also make it. And also Chucks. I think Chucks is for sure going to be making it. LT Walton, I agree with LT Walton making it. I really like LT Walton. He had a pretty strong preseason. Tyson Alulu is obviously going to be there. And yeah, I don't think Joshua Frazier makes it, though. He didn't really do anything too impressive in preseason, and Dan McCullers was actually extremely impressive in preseason. I could see a guy like Levon Hooks maybe getting that last spot on the roster. Be interesting to see how that works out, though. Outside linebacker, Chicolo is for sure a fit. One player I don't see here is, oh god, I do not know how to pronounce it. Adenai? 92, he's been a stud. 3 sacks this preseason. He's absolutely making the roster. Yeah, and I don't see him at right. I can definitely see Chicolo making it, but there's going to be a 5th outside linebacker, and it's going to be Ola Adenai, if that's how you say it. Middle linebacker, obviously this is Madden, so Shazier isn't on it. It's going to be Vince Williams, John Bostic, LJ Fort, and it's going to be Matthew Thomas, the undrafted free agent out of Florida State. Absolute stud. No way he doesn't make the team. And again, that's kind of a fit. I agree with everything here, but I think Brian Allen is also going to make it. I think they're going to keep a 6th cornerback, and it's going to be Brian Allen. Otherwise, I agree with everything we see here. Free safety, Sean Davis. I don't see Dangerfield making the team. And I honestly don't see Marcus Allen making the team. If they keep 5 safeties, I think Allen makes the team. But otherwise, I think we're going to see Nat Bear here. Barry, the free agent signing. The missile from the New York Giants. He's absolutely going to be making it. Kicker is obviously going to be Boswell. And I don't know what's going on here with Jordan Berry and Matt Wild. That's going to be a tough one. I don't even know what to say with that one. So we got that all figured out. There is my roster predictions. Who's going to make it, who is not going to make it. Now we're going to go through the schedule real quick, and I'm going to go game by game and just kind of predict what I see. Browns, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. There's no reason the Steelers shouldn't win all 6 divisional games this year. The Browns, yeah, they added players, but they're still the Browns. I don't think they're going to be that good. They remind me way too much of the hype around the Dream Team Philadelphia Eagles, and they were on a higher scale than the Browns were. So, Browns, I see them winning it. It'll be close as all the AFC North games are, but I do see them beating the Browns in Week 1. Chiefs, I don't see the Chiefs coming out on top of this one either, unless Patty Mahomes just comes out and absolutely lights things up. I think the Steelers are going to be 2-0 at this point. Against the Buccaneers, again, no Jameis Winston. I see the Steelers coming away with an easy win here on Monday night. Sunday night matchup against the Ravens, again, always a close one, but I see them coming out on top. Starting out the year 4-0, and against the Falcons is where I'm going to give them their first loss. I think this is where we're going to really start to see that secondary exposed. This is going to be a big game on Artie Burns. Can Artie Burns cover Julio Jones? That's going to be the biggest thing here. I love Artie, but I think he's going to get burned in this game. I think the Falcons are going to come out on top. It's going to be close, but I think the Falcons come out on top here. Bengals, I think it's going to be a win. 5-1 going into the bye. They're going to beat the Browns, beat the Ravens, beat the Panthers. I see them falling to the Jaguars here. So at this point, I have them at, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1. I see them falling to 8-2 here. I see them beating the Broncos. For some reason, I think one of these games is going to be a loss. I just know the way the Steelers play. So after these 2 games, I'm going to say 9-3. Patriots, I'm going to say... Wait, I'm losing some numbers here. Sorry, guys. I'm really bad at this shit. 1, 2, 3, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2. We'll say they lose against the Raiders. They always seem to lose against the Raiders. So 10-3, 10-4. And then I see them winning these last 2. So I see them pulling out a 12-4. If they can manage to beat the Ravens 13-3, I think they can get a first-round bye. I wholly believe that there's no reason the Steelers shouldn't be able to get a first-round bye. Statistically, we'll just, again, go back through the team and just kind of look at stats, what I expect from this team. Roster. Quarterback, Big Ben, I expect a big year from him. Todd Haley is gone. He's got his old quarterback coach as his offensive coordinator. He's going to be able to run the no huddle a lot more. And he came into camp in shape. I see a huge year for Ben. I'm saying well over 4,000 yards. Potentially close to 5,000 yards. That's a bit of a jump, but I can see Ben closing in on 5,000 yards this season. And again, I'm shooting for the stars here, but I'm giving him 42 touchdowns, 14 interceptions is what I'm saying for Big Ben. Barring any injuries, there's no reason we should see any of these guys playing. Halfback, I think Le'Veon Bell. I'm torn on whether they're going to run their legs off of Le'Veon Bell or if they're going to start to give James Conner a lot more time. If they start giving Conner more time, I think we'll see 2,000 combined yards running between these two. And probably anywhere from 15 to 18 touchdowns. Receiving, I think this is the year AB does it. I think AB breaks 2,000. He would have done it last year if he remained healthy. I don't think anything is going to stop Antonio Brown this year. And I think that this could be the year that Antonio Brown potentially secures MVP. I think personally he deserved it last year. If he didn't get hurt those 2 games, I think there would be a whole different discussion. Antonio Brown would be MVP of the league. But with those 2 games that he missed, I think Antonio Brown is going to just absolutely kill it. I'm going to say like 140 receptions, 2,140 yards. I'm going to give the man like 10 touchdowns. He's never big on the touchdowns. Juju is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, I believe, this year. And I think James Washington is going to fall shy of 1,000 yards, but I think he's going to have more touchdowns than Juju. I think we're going to see kind of a similar thing with James Washington as we saw with Juju in his rookie year. I think he's going to be pretty good. Tight ends, I see them having a very minimal effect in the pass game. They just don't have a number 1 guy. If Vance McDonald stays healthy, he could potentially do something, but outside of that, I don't see anything too big. O-line, I expect them to hold up well, barring any injuries. I think they continue to be a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. Defensive side of things, Cam Hayward, I think, is going to continue on the beast 12.5 sack season that he had last year, where he just was swept under the rug as a 3-4 defensive end. I think this is the year that Cameron Hayward becomes a NFL name. I think this is the year that everyone around the league is going to know the name of Cameron Hayward. And on the opposite side, assuming Stephon Tuitt can stay healthy, I think these two are going to make a terrifying bookend pair on the ends. I think both will combine. I think they'll both get 10 plus sacks. And then in the middle, Javon Hargrave is also going to be a beast. I see at least 5 sacks from him. I think this defensive front is disgusting. I expect huge things from them. Left outside linebacker Bud Dupree. I don't see it. I really don't. I think as the season goes on, he's going to get less and less snaps. I think we're going to see rotational guys like Chicolo, Keon Adams, and Ola Adene. That's just how I'm assuming it's pronounced. Start eating some of his snaps. The time we saw him preseason, he had 1 sack and it looked really good. And then on a lot of other plays, he just looks lazy. He looks like he just doesn't care. He gives up on the pass rush. This is the last year for Bud Dupree in a Steelers uniform. Calling it right now. Middle linebacker, we're going to see Vince Williams. I think he's going to have another big year with sacks. I think he's going to break his career high of 8 last year. I can see him getting 9 or 10. I'm also going to call it right now. Steelers are going to lead the league in sacks again. And then I think John Bostic is going to see some time, but in passing situations, we're going to see Matthew Thomas. Matthew Thomas showed incredible athleticism. I cannot wait to see Matthew Thomas in the NFL playing, against starters. I'm excited to see what Matthew Thomas can do. I think by the end of the year, the pairing will be Vince Williams and Matthew Thomas, and John Bostic coming in on run situations. Right outside linebacker, TJ Watt, coming off of a pretty good rookie season. I expect him to continue to grow. He's had some issues with injuries during the preseason, but it's nothing major. They're just holding him out to ensure that he stays healthy. Again, I expect big things from TJ Watt. I think he gets close to 10 sacks. I'm going to give him 8.5, 9 sacks for TJ Watt. I think this year we're going to really start to see growth. Year 3, year 4 is when TJ Watt's going to be starting to be mentioned in the same name as his brother. I think TJ Watt has that ability. Cornerback has got to be the most polarizing position for this team. Joe Hayden now has a full offseason under his wing with the Steelers. I don't see that meaning he's going to come in and be Joe Hayden of old, shut down. But I think Joe Hayden's going to have a good year. I'm going to give him 3 picks. This is going to be one of my most polarizing opinions. I think Artie Burns is going to kill it. I know I said he's probably going to be victimized by Julio, but I think that Artie Burns this year is finally going to develop into that shutdown. Again, Joe Hayden had a full year under the belt, and now that means he gets to mentor guys like Artie Burns. Artie Burns is still young. He's been in the league. This is going to be his 3rd year in the league, and he's still only 23. Artie Burns has a lot of potential, and I think he's going to start to realize it now, especially with their new defensive back coach, which I believe is Daryl Drake. I can't remember if Drake is the new defensive back coach or the new wide receiver coach, but they do have a new defensive back coach who has been preaching the fundamentals, which is everything that Artie Burns has been doing wrong was the fundamentals. He's always had the athleticism. So with that, I think we're going to see big things out of Artie Burns. Mike Hilton, again, last year the NFL started to know his name. Again, I think this is the year that people really start to learn Mike Hilton's name. I'm going to see 5-6 sacks from him, 3 or 4 picks, and 2 touchdowns from Mike Hilton. Cody Sensabaugh, Cam Sutton, again, are 2 names that we'll see rotationally. Sensabaugh will be seen in the slot, depending on Mike Hilton's health, who I know is a little banged up, and Cameron Sutton will be the first man in on the outside if Artie Burns isn't playing well or if Artie Burns and Joe Hayden gets injured. I also expect big things from Cam Sutton. And then there's still Brian Allen, who actually had a pretty disappointing preseason. But I think this is the deepest the Steelers have been in the secondary for as long as I can ever remember. Free safety, Sean Davis. I think Sean Davis might continue to struggle with this move to free safety. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Sean Davis this year. As I move over to strong safety, I think what we might see happen, Morgan Burnett has been hurt, but Terrell Edmunds has really impressed me during the preseason. He's made rookie mistakes, as you would expect, but he's also shown a really good ability to bounce back, and his ability to run man coverage has been extremely impressive. So I think what this does, if Terrell Edmunds can continue to impress, it gives them the flexibility to move Morgan Burnett back to free safety if Sean Davis starts to struggle over there. I think he'll have a natural fit over in free safety where he just kind of has to play zones and make tackles instead of, being forced into man-on-man situations with tight ends. But if there is a struggle with Sean Davis, I think Morgan Burnett will be slid over to the free safety. Terrell Edmunds will take over as strong safety. I'm excited to see what Terrell Edmunds can do. Very underrated first-round pick. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little about it when they picked him, but he's impressed me thus far in preseason. I want to see what he does. Safeties, I see 4 to 5 sacks or interceptions combined between the two. And of course, Boswell is going to continue to be the Wizard of Boz, an absolute beast, the 4th killer bee. I mean, he just got that big money contract. I expect huge things from Boswell. I mean, he is a breath of fresh air. I mean, I get that the Steelers had, we had Jeff Reed and then we had Sean Sweezum, but man, that short amount of time that we had Josh Scobie was one of the most painful experiences as a Steelers fan I think I've ever went through. So Chris Boswell will continue to be a stud, criminally underrated at 79 overall. Madden, get your shit together. And punting, I don't know what the situation is. I am not big on the Jordan Berry hate train. I think he's a good punter. I just think the Steelers constantly punt from decent field position. So it's not like Jordan Berry's got to boot the ball, 50, 60 yards deep. Normally his punts only need to go 30, 40 yards. So, there will always be that. And the returning, I think Ryan Switzer, who they recently acquired, will be returning anything. I don't see Antonio Brown being back to return punts. I think that is absolutely silly. Antonio Brown shouldn't be returning punts. He should be catching footballs and scoring touchdowns and doing front flips into the end zone and running into goalposts and air humping. So yes, that is my prediction for your 2018 Pittsburgh Steelers. Playoff wise, I'd like to say Super Bowl. The biggest hurdle, and this isn't even a new story, this is the same old thing every single year. Can they get past the Patriots? Well, shit, can they get past the Jacksonville Jaguars? Someone needs to beat the Patriots for them. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. And against the Jaguars, their biggest issue is stopping the run there. And I think adding guys like John Bostic, Matthew Thomas, and LJ Fort kind of coming into his own, I think they're going to be able to stop the run a lot better this year. Plus, if Dan McCullers can continue to play as well as he has in preseason, I think Dan McCullers will be a force in run stopping, because when you've got a, 6'8", like 360, 380 pound guy in the middle, that's going to command 2 of your linemen. He's going to run over your center. If you put your center on him, he is going to run him over. So I think I expect big things from this offense. I think this offense is going to be top 2 in the league. I think this is the year they finally reach that plateau of, we can score 30 a game, all this. I think this is that year they finally do it with Fitchner under the center, under control of the offense and giving Roethlisberger reign to do what he wants to. I think we're going to see big things. And AB, Juju, and James Washington make a disgusting trio of wide receivers. This may be the deadliest trio of wide receivers I've ever seen, and that's saying something with the Steelers. The O-line, again, will continue to be good, and the running back position, we know what they can do. So that is my prediction. Again, as it is every year with the Steelers, it is Super Bowl or bust, and nothing is going to change on that regard. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more Steelers related videos, Steelers news, stuff like that, leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below telling me that you enjoyed the video, and let me see what you guys think is going to be happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers down below. I want to hear your predictions.
Back from the dead.